They say love is patient. They also say love is kind. But no one ever warns you what happens when love is mixed with fear. When affection is swallowed by suspicion. When marriage becomes a courtroom, and every smile is treated as evidence of guilt. This is the story of David Okafor and Ruth, his wife. A story of how love, once sweet, slowly turned into poison. The man everyone trusted. David Okafor did not become successful overnight. He built his wealth with discipline, prayer, and an uncommon calmness that made people trust him almost immediately. In meetings, he listened more than he spoke. In arguments, he chose silence over pride. Even when provoked, David believed anger was a debt that always demanded interest. People admired him. Employees respected him. Clients recommended him. At home, he tried to be the same man. But home was different. Ruth was beautiful. No one denied that. Her light brown skin glowed when she dressed well. Her sharp cheekbones gave her a commanding presence. When she entered a room, people noticed. But beneath that beauty lived a constant fear. A fear of abandonment. A fear of replacement. A fear that love, if not tightly controlled, would escape. Ruth loved David deeply. Too deeply. And that love soon became obsession. The day the office burned. That Monday morning began like every other. David reviewed contracts from Abuja while soft instrumental music played faintly in his office. His secretary, Amoka, stood before him with files clutched to her chest. She was young. Respectful. Nervous around authority. "Sir," she said, "the client signed everything." David smiled. "Thank you, Amoka. You may leave them there." Before she could move, the office door exploded open. The sound alone made hearts jump. Ruth walked in like a storm. "So this is where you hide," she shouted. Amoka froze. David stood slowly. "Ruth." But Ruth had already crossed the room. "You shameless girl," she screamed at Amoka. "Standing like this in front of my husband." "More, please," Amoka's voice shook. The slap came fast. Papers flew. Staff rushed in. Amoka cried openly now, her blouse torn, dignity stripped in seconds. "Ruth! Stop it!" David shouted. But jealousy has no ears. When Ruth finally stormed out, the office was silent. David looked at Amoka, broken, humiliated. "Please go home," he said gently. "I'm sorry." That apology haunted him long after she left. A sister's welcome. Sarah arrived from abroad a week later. She was excited. Tired, yes, but happy to be home. She had missed her brother. Missed Nigeria. Missed the smell of home-cooked food and the sound of familiar voices. She sat in the living room waiting for David. When Ruth entered, everything changed. "Who are you?" Ruth asked sharply. Sarah smiled. "I'm David's sister." That was all she said. It was enough. Ruth attacked her without warning, nails digging into skin, insults pouring out like acid. "You think I don't know you?" Ruth screamed. "You think I'm blind?" Sarah screamed David's name as he ran downstairs and dragged Ruth away. "She is my sister," David yelled. The room went quiet. Sarah didn't argue. She didn't cry loudly. She simply gathered her torn clothes. "I'll leave tonight," she said. And she did. A mother who saw it coming. At their mother's house, Sarah broke down. "Mama," she sobbed, "that woman will kill your son." Mrs. Okafor closed her eyes. "I warned him," she said softly. "That is why I stopped going there." Later that night, David knelt before his mother like a child. "I'm afraid," he admitted. "I can't sleep with peace anymore." The mother prayed. The son wept. Locked out. That night, David knocked on his own door. Ruth, open the door. Tell me where you're coming from, she shouted from inside. From your girlfriend's house. The door stayed locked. David slept in his car, staring into darkness, wondering how marriage became exile. The day everything ended. At a roadside eatery days later, silence sat between David and Ruth like a third person. Blessing, a young waitress, approached nervously. In her rush, she stepped on Ruth's foot. "Omo, I'm so sorry." Ruth stood and slapped her. "You useless girl." People protested. David stood. Enough. He apologized to Blessing and walked away. That was the day David chose peace. When peace looks like love. David and Blessing began to talk. Then laugh. Then breathe. She was gentle. Respectful. Calm. What changed you? David asked one day. Peace, she replied. Peace comes from respect. And slowly, love followed. The crash. Ruth heard. She drove like a woman chased by demons. The crash was violent. Metal screamed. Glass shattered. Consequences. She will never walk again, the doctor said. David paid every bill. But he did not return. An end and a beginning. At Ruth's parents' house, David spoke softly. It's over. They nodded. They had warned her. Peace fulfilled. David married Blessing. There was laughter. There was peace. Poison consumes itself. Ruth sat alone in her wheelchair watching TV. Breaking news, the announcer said. Businessman David Okafor weds Blessing. Ruth screamed. Her body collapsed. Silence followed. The lesson. Jealousy destroys what love cannot. Anger ruins what patience could heal. And a heart that refuses peace will eventually destroy itself.